Pitch one coming from Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs. Day game, 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. We're at 1:36 now on the official start. Thad Anderson with you on the Front Range Baseball Network. Front Range League inaugural season. Ethan Steer is the starting pitcher for the El Paso County Baseball Miracles. He throws ball one to open the count to the Western Nebraska Pioneers leadoff batter. In and ready to roll. Alex Draper is the on-deck guy. It's like Tyson Laugen, making sure I've got my math correct. Number 11 on the jerseys. Double-check the lineup here. We get that from time to time in the old summer collegiates. Yeah, Western Nebraska Pioneers lineup definitely has Pickett on the lineup. Got potentially an aged roster on my side. Michael Pickett listed as shortstop today. And in on the first count, 3-1 pitch is chopped to the 5.5 hole, gliding across, gloving, and making the out. Jansen Roberts at third base, 5-3 put out. Roberts to David Ada, the first baseman. Alex Draper, next man up. One out in the top of inning number one as we get into baseball action. 9 innings scheduled ball game today. Miracles and Pioneers. Sling a pitch up there. It's Ethan Steer. Steer told me he joined the roster, I think he said it was about 10 games in. Miracles sitting at, I think it's 18 games played now. There's a ball hit to center. Big park here. Got some deep fences, and it'll be a shallow fly out. Alex Draper, F8, and 2 away. Draper flies out. Henry Douglas is the DH today. Michael Pickett led off, ground ball to third. Alex Draper fly out to center. Here's Henry Douglas DHing. Down through the order for the Pioneers, Ashton Pinedo is the third baseman. He'll bat next. On deck is Pinedo. First pitch from Ethan Steer is ripped foul, pulled first base side. Jake Watson bats fifth, catches, batting sixth. Second baseman Tanner Lancaster. First baseman bats 7, Jackson McFarland. Batting 8, Ben Kern, left fielder. And batting 9th, Brandon Jenkins, the right fielder. Ball bounding around down the right field line. Had to get a couple of retrievers on that. Cleaned up, 0-1 count to Henry Douglas. Takes down and away, it appeared, as we learned the zone today from plate umpire Jace Armijo. 1-1 pitch. That is sent to left field. Got a little bit of carry to it, but a reaching, running grab out toward the left field corner at the track. Miracles have Austin Reese out there. Henry Douglas flies out to left, and that ends the top of the first. 3 up, 3 down, clean frame for Ethan Steer, the starter. Starter for Western Nebraska Pioneers, Rocco Harmon takes the bump, faces Hunter Morgan, Jackson Schlepper, Austin Reese, the 3 due up for the Miracles. Throughout today's ball game, got some interview material from each side of the ball field. Pioneers in the third base dugout have an extended interview, pregame interview with their manager, Easton Babe. I'll sprinkle that in throughout some breaks. Also had a chance to talk to Miracles player and winning pitcher last night in the extra inning win, Maddox Stahl. We'll bring those to you coming up shortly in the course of our game during some of our breaks. Between innings, Easton Babe for the Pioneers, Maddox Stahl for the Miracles, featured in-game interview materials coming up later. bottom of the first inning. Miracles of El Paso County baseball sending up Hunter Morgan. Morgan, first pitch. That ball is killed by the infield grass a little bit, but it'll dribble its way through as Hunter Morgan leads off first pitch. He's aboard with a single. And Jackson Schlepper steps in. Rocco Harmon, the starting pitcher for Western Nebraska Pioneers after a big doubleheader sweep yesterday in Boulder. The Pioneers right back at it today. 1:36 Mountain Time today when we got going after both teams finished up late last night. Miracles played deep into the night with that 10-inning win over Diamond Club, 16-12 extra innings. That's a walk-off grand slam from the batter scheduled fourth in this inning, Jansen Roberts. Pick throw over, back goes Hunter Morgan. Rocco Harmon on the bump. His DH today is Henry Douglas, who just flew out. Pitch outside for a ball. Harmon's catcher today, Jake Watson, has the dish for Western Nebraska. Harmon and Watson, pitcher-catcher combo for the Pioneers. Fouled away. Barrel dragged through the zone a little bit for Schlepper. He hit that up onto the upper deck of the Coca-Cola courtyard. I meant to go broadcast from over there today on the patio out in the sunshine. Nice day in Colorado Springs. Fantastic press box, though, up top, right behind home plate. Same vantage point as your camera today is my vantage point on the Front Range Baseball Network. Harmon and Watson, the battery, connecting here on a 2-1 pitch. And a 3-1 down with that fastball. Middle infielders, Michael Pickett at short, Tanner Lancaster at second base. Corners are Jackson McFarland and Ashton Pinedo on the corner defense for Western Nebraska. 3-1 pitch. Got the inside part of the plate, full count. And in the outfield, Alex Draper up the middle in center field. Flanked in left by Ben Kern and right by Brandon Jenkins, the outfielders in the starting lineup for Easton Babe. And the Pioneers runner takes off, 3-2, nobody out. Good thing he went. That ball, one hop chop to first base, probably would have been two, but the runner on the move, Hunter Morgan, takes the bag on the 3-2 ground out, unassisted to first base. Gloved by Jackson McFarland for one away. Austin Reese to the plate. First pitch to Reese with one away, runner at two. He chops it to the middle. That'll move the runner. Running play, throw on the run across his body. Nicely played at second base. Only play available there for the Pioneers. Tanner Lancaster executes it. That soft ground ball pushes Hunter Morgan over to third base with two down. Either 8 or 9 ways to score from third base, but some of those evaporate when you have two outs. Sack fly, no longer an option here with two down, but moving up that extra distance, something like a balk. I think, let's see, I think we're in the full here. Shouldn't be a balk situation. Going from the stretch. Nope, that's kind of that full stretch modified. That's a full windup on the side mount on the pitching rubber for Rocco Harmon. Obviously, the wild pitch passed ball would be the primary advantage for Morgan now at third base, moving up on that ground ball. 3-0 count is shot down the line. That's a fair ball. And Jansen Roberts continues back-to-back days of high productivity for the Miracles on offense. Roberts singles and scores a run. First run of the game, Hunter Morgan to the plate. Miracles take a 1-0 lead. David Ada follows Jansen Roberts into the box with two away, one in. Upstairs on the pitch, mentioned Jace Armijo, the plate umpire. Thanks to Jace for working the dish today. Tim Dumas has the bases. 2 umpire crew. Tim Dumas out in the B position right now. That ball does get loose, and Roberts will take a free 90 past ball. It was an outside pitch. Watson reached for it. Looked like he was going to back pick down to 1 on Roberts and didn't finish the receive or the catch on that pitch. Came out of his old school terminology, PUD, catcher's mitt, and trickled away past the Vibes logo behind home plate. Strike now hits the zone to David Ada. Ada last night, he batted in the number 6 spot, went 2 for 5, started off, or 2 for 4, started off slowly with a couple strikeouts in the same inning, and then had a good night. He hits this one tall to left. That's hanging up a little bit. The infielder's now chasing it down. Shortstop's going to take over out near the left field foul line. The Pioneers left fielder, Ben Kern, had a hard time with that up in the sunny sky, and the wind was pushing it a little bit. And he gives a little glove tap to shortstop Michael Pickett. Made a nice shortstop play on the pop out deep to the number 6 defensive position. 1 run in for the Miracles. Let's hear our first bit from Pioneers manager Easton Babe in our pregame interview. We'll break this up, chip it through. Here's the first portion of our Easton Babe conversation. Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs, Front Range League Baseball, a matinee day game on a Thursday. Western Nebraska Pioneers and the El Paso County Baseball Miracles. Thad Anderson with Pioneers head coach manager Easton Babe. Easton, thanks for coming up to the booth. Nice view from up here, huh?
Yes, sir. It's perfect. Thank you for having me.
Wow, you're coming in hot. Pretty sweet doubleheader outcome last night. Talk about the action in Boulder last night.
Yes, sir. Went out to Boulder. 64's got a really good ball club out there, so we went in for all intentions of throwing everything we had at them, and it worked out in our favor. We got on the board early in both our games. It happened to be 2 7s because of a rain out, and once we got on the board, we kind of just kept going with it. And that first game ended up 13-1, I believe, and then the next game was a little closer, 6-3.
Yeah, I was tracking the end of that one. We were here last night, had a walk-off 10th inning grand slam from the Miracles last night. Pretty exciting finish. I was at Tuesday night in Boulder when that rain out happened. So you guys, what'd you do then? What do you do with your time? You're just kind of hanging out.
We took all the guys to the Rockies game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we got to see the Rockies-Dodgers game, and saw a little Shohei bomb, and that was pretty cool for all the guys. They got pretty excited about that. And
so you went the night of the rain out?
The night of the rain out for the 64s.
Wow,
yes, sir.
Nice, quick reaction to that. We'll carry on with Easton Babe, thanks to the lead guy with the Pioneers this summer as we work through today's 9-inning scheduled ball game. Ashton Pinedo for the Pioneers will lead off the top of 2. Breaking pitch works out and catches the edge of the zone. Strike 1. Ethan Steer, starter for the Miracles. Working on a mound I've walked past. Didn't really get up there and simulate any pitches when I was on the field pregame, but the vantage point from here of that mound and from down there, that's a well-built, well-manicured mound to throw from. Steer gets a foul ball, popped right side up over the desserts building that is closed. What? You can't taunt with desserts like that over there. Blocktickets Park, just renamed bouncing pitch. We'll skip in and go to a 2-2 count, nobody out, leadoff guy Pinedo. Just renamed Blocktickets Park. I think it was in May, just about a month ago. Might have been a month ago yesterday-ish. Saw an old release that the Rocky Mountain Vibes had reached an agreement with Blocktickets to, it was a 10-year naming rights deal on this park. Formerly UC Health Park, now Blocktickets Park. HQ'd out of New York City, but represented here in Colorado Springs. Pitch is fouled away, stay on a 3-2 count. Clang that off of some of the metal bleacher seats. Talked about this yesterday. Got the bleacher seating, but the backs on it, metal backs across all those flat, long benches, and then you got chair back seats down below at this fantastic park in Colorado Springs. 3-2 pitch. That is way wide. Umpire had to exert no effort to call that a ball. That was clearly not near the zone. And a full count foul off earns another pitch that was way out of the zone. Ashton Pinedo, first base runner of the day for the Pioneers. Fourth guy to come to the plate overall. Catcher Jake Watson stepping in. Schlepper, the shortstop, and Lucero, the second baseman for the Miracles. Jackson Schlepper and Jeremiah Lucero up the middle. Ball one. Catcher Mason Aaron has the battery duties with Ethan Steer. Mason Aaron behind the plate. Saw Mason courtesy run a little bit, then play right field. Made a stand-up, sit-down, fight catch in right field. Slipped down and then still made a fly ball out for the Miracles, one of the big outs on their way to the win over Diamond Club, putting Diamond Club, the Miracles, and the Grays all at 3 wins on the year. Miracles had a rough, slow start, but back-to-back wins they're riding right now into today. This ball is popped over short. Nice running play. Thinking about a throw back, but no chance to fire back behind Pinedo. Shortstop Jackson Schlepper, good retreat on that pop-up. 1 out. Pinedo had to get off the bag a ways. That ball looked like it might bloop over into the grass behind short. So Pinedo was running with that ball. The farther Schlepper ran, the farther Pinedo ran. That was a good job of base running, extending as much as he could in case that ball dropped down. He had to beat a throw back to second base on a potential force out. But then Pinedo had to turn around and get the wheels spinning to get back in time. No throw from the shortstop. Tanner Lancaster has a 1-0 count. Second baseman Lancaster chops this through the hole on the left side. Lancaster just kind of a guided swing through that pitch. He steered the bat through it and served that to the 5.5 spot. 1 out single, first hit of the day for the Pioneers. 2 runners aboard with the leadoff walk ahead of him. Lancaster with Pinedo out in front of him on the bags. Jackson McFarland, first base defender time here. Mason Aaron, the catcher, is going to talk to Ethan Steer. Now back in goes McFarland. He lifts one on his first pitch. That is sailing above second base. The wind is blowing here a little bit today, and they call infield fly. Infielders let that drop and see if any runners will freak out. The freak out count on that was 0. So that is an IF, infield fly, for 2 away, closest to the shortstop. But that goes in the books, infield fly, and nobody caught it. It fell very close to the bag at second base. The Pioneers runners wise enough to make the right choice there and just stand there. Diamond Club not here today, of course, but they were here yesterday, and I saw their shortstop Cale Corridan a couple games ago. He clanked a line drive to short on purpose and turned a 6.43 DP on it. After some short debate, the call stood. 2-ball count here to Ben Kern. I think that was the Foxes they were playing that day, and the Foxes coaching staff asked, hey, didn't he catch that first line drive? Really, he caught it for an out and then dropped it. Decision was nope. He just kind of knocked it down, and he rolled up a 6.43 on a line drive. Strike there from Ethan Steer, 2-1 count. No infield fly call, of course, on a line drive. There's a runner at first base only. Wouldn't have been an infield fly situation anyway with a runner only on 1. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That got the inside part of the plate. That's a great pitch. Seen that twice today, that spot. And if a pitcher can figure out how to live there, they will have an extended appearance in this ball game. 2-2, 2 outs. Deuces on the board. Jumping around at second base is Pinedo. He's going to take off, and he's going to score on a 2-2, 2 out. delivery, slipping at first base, and runner being brought around from third. Ball is bobbled in right along the line, and everybody's going to move up. Pioneers plate 2 with 2 away. Pinedo scores easily on that base knock. Going to end up being an error down the line, but Kern's base hit, ribbies to tie the game, and then a little miscue in right on the foul line. Bobble lets more traffic move along. RBI single for Ben Kern. 2 runs home for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Brandon Jenkins batting number 9. The right fielder rounds out the first pass through the lineup for Western Nebraska. Swings and a strike. So Kern was busting it. He was going to go for 2. It was going to be looked like it was going to be a double, and then he wiped out. He slipped right in front of the first base bag, ended up chest down on the ground, full flat layout at first, foul ball, 0-2 count. And then in right field for the Miracles, Nicholas Brainerd over there at the line, he kicked it around just a little bit, and Kern got back up and took second. It ended up being an error on the advance because he had stopped his attempt to go. Now he's going to take off for third. Strikeout pitch from Ethan Steer. Jenkins is the third out of the top of 2. Tanner Lancaster came all the way around from first base on that ball that was going to get him at least 2 bags, and that miscue with an aggressive send around third base. Easily scoring was Lancaster. 2-1. Pioneers take the lead. It was Easton Babe who waved him around. We'll hear more from Easton right now in the middle of the second inning. 2-1 Pioneers. That situation. The win last night for you guys, good couple wins there. 64s were sitting atop the league. You're making a run here. On the flip side, the Miracles have been at the bottom of that. That's who you're playing today. But they have a nice win, back-to-back wins now. One over the Spradley Collegians out of Pueblo, who play with everybody in the league very competitively. Last night they get a grand slam to walk it off in extras. Have you seen much of the Miracles, or what do you think coming into today?
Miracles is the one team we have seen plenty of. I think this is our 6th time playing them already this year. The crazy thing about baseball is that it's anyone's ball game any day. We know that coming in here, we can't take anything for granted. Even though we got the best of them the first few times we played them, we know that we need to come here and get a job done.
I know you've got a little family situation going on with the coaching staff. Talk about the dynamic between the head coach or the manager and then this assistant bum who hangs out a little bit.
Yes, sir. My assistant coach being my father, Michael Babe. We've gone through my whole life. He's been my mentor for everything I've done in baseball, and he got to grow up in just the most amazing baseball way of his father being in professional baseball for over 40 years with the Yankees, won a World Series, managed for quite a long time in the White Sox organization. He got to live a life that not many people get to live, and being able to have him out here and just share stories day in and day out for these guys, they've absolutely loved it, and just getting to pick his brain when different situations get to come up. He's more telling me what he thinks should happen over what, I agree with and whatnot. I'm starting to branch out on my own philosophy of baseball, and he loves seeing that too. But we've gone through so much together. He went through cancer a few years ago, and this is the most energetic I've seen my dad in 25 years of my life. He's been having a ball out here.
Awesome. That part of the interview had to be played out. We'll watch a 2-1 count over the words of Easton Babe talking about his father and the recent cancer battle. 2-1 pitch here. Turns to a 2-2 count. Strike delivered by Rocco Harmon. Got a little more coming from Easton Babe. I would like the story about father-son combo working out here. Pitch coming on a 2-2 is chopped to second. Little glove tap and a shuffle step, and still time to make that throw out. Tanner Lancaster at second base. Jeremiah Lucero, the batter, grounded out. Nicholas Brainerd now steps into the box. Jeremiah Lucero led off this inning. He's a second baseman. Hit it to the second baseman, Lancaster. Lucero, I like his presence. He had a nice day yesterday. On base, making things happen for the Miracles. When he came into the box just now to start the inning, he walked around, he was holding his bat by the barrel, used the knob to tap the shin guards of Jake Watson, the catcher for the Pioneers, just saying hello to the catcher, kind of a friendly greeting on his way in. Nice stretch at first base, reaching up the line toward home on a ground ball to shortstop. Michael Pickett made the toss to Jackson McFarland, who got long on that one. McFarland reaches back toward the plate to make the 6-3 put-out catch. Now Bryson Martinez, he was intentionally walked last night. And that was the last order of business before Jansen Roberts came up and hit a walk-off grand slam. The guy right here, Bryson Martinez, DHing today, was pinch hitting for Austin Reese's spot, number 3 spot in the order last night. Runners were on second and third with one out. This guy, Martinez, was put aboard to load him, and Jansen Roberts blasted one about 400 feet to right center. The lefty on a pull shot hit a walk-off grand slam for a 16-12 win. 1-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of 2. Harmon's pitch bounces, and it's contained, bounces just loose of Jake Watson. I literally just finished, just now, my scorecard from last night. Exciting finish. I never jotted down the home run and the big finish. So that game was pending on my handwritten scorecard. Nice swing down the line. That's got the corner. Could be 3 bags. We'll see what happens at the corner. Clean pickup, and runner will hold up at 2. You don't want to make the third out at third base. Bryson Martinez, good job of running the bags hard. He'll pull up at 2 with a clean, solid double down the right field line into the corner down by the NOCO party bus sign. The span of your camera shot today goes foul pole to foul pole. If you can see it on your screen, on the left side, there's a black Blocktickets and Stranahan's whiskey sign in the left field corner at 350 feet. There's a yellow elevated foul pole. Pitch fouled away by Mason Aaron, number 9 batter for the Miracles. Down the right field line, that corner down there where the bullpen kind of juts out. Foul pole is at the very edge of your right side of your screen. Tall yellow metal mesh foul poles on each side. Aaron turns on one, lights it up to left. That'll hang up. The breeze blowing in slightly today. Pioneers left fielder Ben Kern has the catch. Double with 2 outs from Martinez, but Rocco Harmon gets the fly ball swing. Each team will be at the top of their order to go into the 3rd inning. For the Pioneers first, it's Pickett, Draper, and Douglas, top of the 9 batter order for the Pioneers. Pickett, Draper, Douglas went 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. We'll see what they can do here in the top of 3 in a 2-1 ball game. Road team, the Pioneers of Western Nebraska, on top of the El Paso County Baseball Miracles.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
Hey, Dad,
Lally
ask
Casey
you
knows
what
what
I
I
do
do
when there's no baseball.
keeps the
I'll
parents
tell
fun
you what
off
I do.
the streets.
I stare out the
Yo,
window.
there's
and
no
wait for spring.
crying in baseball.
Here's Michael Pickett stepping in. First pitch, ball to Pickett. Now watches a bending pitch hit the zone. It cruised right by his lead shoulder, left shoulder of Pickett, almost grazed the jersey and caught the zone. Good hard break from Ethan Steer. Now goes away with it. Gets an empty swat from Michael Pickett. Two good bending pitches put the count at 1-2. Tries to break it again. This one stays up. Moving that pitch around, though. Nice work by Ethan Steer to put that breaking ball in different locations. That one rode up and above the zone. Trying to work inside again. Now he comes back through the zone and foul off. 2-2 count for Pickett. Grounded out to third base his first time around. Maddox Stahl, who's an interview guest of ours in game today. After the Easton Babe interview, we'll have some stuff from Maddox Stahl, player for the Miracles. He's jogging around the back track, around the backstop with Louis De La Cueva, who caught him a little bit last night. They both ran around to the other bullpen where the Pioneers are at, and they're going down there on some kind of an ambassadorial mission. De La Cueva and Stahl. Here's a pitch in, ground ball. Grounded out to third his first time. Going to go to short this time. Played by Jackson Schlepper, and Michael Pickett is out 6-3 after his 5-3 leadoff of the game. Leads off the third with that ground ball. A worm burner across the infield grass. Stayed down on it, Schlepper. And Alex Draper flew out to center his first time. Miracles thrilled to change today's first inning outcome compared to last night, in which the first, 6 batters reached for Diamond Club, including the first 5 had base hits. Diamond Club last night in the top of the first inning right here, where we're at today again at Blocktickets Park. First 5 guys, all base hits and all clean. No kind of, helpful scoring moments in there. It was just base hit after base hit. Diamond Club came out of the gates hot. They went single, single, double, double, single, and then a walk. All 6 of the first 6 guys reached base, 5 for 5 plus that walk, and then got it simmered down. Bending pitch misses the zone, 2-1 count with Alex Draper in the box. Fly out and a strikeout after an out on the base paths for Diamond Club, but they were 5 for 5 plus that walk to open the game. Took a 4-run lead and then sat on that 4 runs for a long time. Diamond Club went down 10-4 in the game, battled back for a 12-12 count at the end of 9. Diamond Club lost on the walk-off to the Miracles, 2-2. That's a jam shot to short. One hopper with some spin on it. Throw is high, pulls the first baseman up and above, and safe. Going to have to be an E6 on that. Would have had him on the good throw down, but Draper putting the pressure on, getting down the line quickly. It was a jam shot with some spin, checked up a little bit back toward third base, cleanly gloved at short by Jackson Schlepper. And then in the rushed throw with Draper busting down the line, it's high. Leaping catch by David Ada, and he didn't come down on the bag until that guy was done. And he's stealing the bag, and he's probably going to score on this ball down the line. On the steal, on the swing, this ball's kicking around in the right field corner, pulling up at second with a double RBI shot. Henry Douglas. Good action from the Pioneers with Draper having just legged out that ground ball or that one hopper in the infield. He takes off on the first pitch. Douglas swinging first pitch, shoots it down the right field line into the corner. That ball, again, kind of pinballed around down there. There's some replaced sod in right field. Saw the earlier bobble on an attempted pickup of a ball out there. A little bit of rough territory to work with in right field. Got a worn spot in one area and then a heavily replaced sodded spot with a pretty big seam on it out there too. That one didn't really come into play that time, but it might have on the previous ball down the right field side. 1-1 count up to Ashton Pinedo. Pinedo was the first man to reach for the Pioneers in the second inning. He walked. He's got a 1-1. He'll swing and knock that through the left side. Sharp single will move Henry Douglas up to third base. Pinedo walking a single in back-to-back innings. Jake Watson, catcher, approaches the plate. Ethan Steer, starting pitcher for the Miracles, resets his headwear. A little bit of a look of, not exhaustion, but kind of just blowing out the bad energy out of the deep oxygen left in the lungs, trying to reset himself. Steer, he misses on the first pitch. Oh, hold on a second. Nope, they rang that up. Thought that one worked outside, but it's an 0-1 count. Steer gets off to a good start against Jake Watson, who popped out to shortstop his first time. Runner takes off from first on a first and third, and the defense is indifferent. Second and third with one away. Maddox Stahl and Louis De La Cueva completing their ambassadorial mission, or maybe in progress. They went and grabbed a cooler out of the other team's bullpen, a water cooler. The way Stahl is flapping that around, I don't know if it either has water in it and they're taking it to the other bullpen, hoping they left one for the Pioneers. I imagine they did. Or they're filling it. Nope, this is going into the Miracles dugout. We'll keep an eye on the water cooler situation. It's a big deal out here. This ball is poked to center. That's probably getting down. That'll drop. Shallow pop, and then a little bobble in left center, but not enough to move anybody. Single scores Henry Douglas. 2 runs in the frame for the Pioneers. They've got back-to-back 2-run innings. Mound visit for John Byington, head coach for the Miracles, on a 4-1 score. Pinedo to third. Watson singles. RBI. He'll be replaced by a courtesy runner. And Tanner Lancaster coming to the plate. First, though, a John Byington Miracles mound conversation. Tanner Lancaster digs back in, or digs in, not back in. First step in for him. Batted last inning with a single and a run scored, Lancaster. Scoring on the backside of that Ben Kern single with a move up, and Lancaster coming all the way around from first base on the ball in the right field corner. Runner takes off again, courtesy runner, and that ball's mishandled at the plate, and everybody's going everywhere. Run scores, and all the way around to third base goes courtesy runner for the Pioneers. Austin Marlin takes 2 bags out of that. Score Ashton Pinedo, 5 runs for the Pioneers. Oh, yep, there's the update. Stahl and De La Cueva, they were filling that. That is just hospitable hosting. They were filling the bucket. I don't know, maybe there was a phone call or a text or a yell from over there like, hey, you're trying to thirst us out over here, trying to dehydrate our guys. Goodwill mission from Stahl and De La Cueva as they filled the cooler. Now they've delivered it to the third base dugout for the Pioneers. 2-1 count. That'll get the inside part of the zone. Tanner Lancaster, not a fan. Chalking that up as stolen base for the courtesy runner, Austin Marlin, and then a passed ball moved him to third and scored Pinedo. 5-1 the score, Pioneers. With 1 out, this should work for a sac fly for Tanner Lancaster. Going to send the throw, strong throw, but too deep to get much done with that. And a sac fly RBI as courtesy runner Austin Marlin touches the plate on the sac fly from Tanner Lancaster. 4 runs in the frame for the Pioneers. Fly out to center fielder Hunter Morgan. Ground out started the inning to shortstop, and as is frequently the situation, this mess, an E6, but a credit to Alex Draper, who hit a little soft pop, one-hop squib hop that shortstop for the Miracles, Schlepper, had to handle, and he had it, made the throw, but sent it high. It was right at the bag, but first baseman David Ada had to jump for it. There's a hit by pitch. That was a bullseye shot. Jackson McFarland, HBP. Bases were clear. Now runner at first with McFarland, and Ben Kern, the 8th spot in the order, will bat. Ada leapt up to make the catch, but couldn't get back down in time, and Alex Draper demonstrated speed that entire at bat and trip around the bases, scoring the first of 4 runs this inning. Draper hustled that out, and I could tell right from the time he jam shotted that towards short over pitcher, Draper was flying down the line. Then he took off first pitch on a steal and made his way all the way around the bags. Ball up the middle is going to get through. Runners will be at first and second. McFarland moving up 1 spot with Ben Kern, his second hit. 2 for 2 is Kern. And the number 9 spot, Brandon Jenkins to the plate. Alex Draper, he of the base running demonstration in this inning from Papillion, Nebraska. Plays at Concordia University in Nebraska, small school in Seward, Nebraska, about 30 minutes outside of Lincoln. And probably, I don't know, what does that make it? I'm guessing maybe it's like 40-ish minutes, maybe not even quite that far from his home of Papillion over to his campus. Strike 1 to Brandon Jenkins. Jenkins batting in back-to-back innings. Struck out in the second, now batting in the third. He's the 9th batter to come to the plate. Miracles do have their top of the order coming up. Hunter Morgan will lead off the bottom of 3. He singled his first time up in the first inning and scored the only run for the Miracles. Pioneers had their top of the order, and they've made it pay off. Miracles will have the same. That breaking ball got back to the zone. Yeah, okay, I was just proven wrong. I was going to say it was up on the vertical axis. I thought it got back horizontally to the zone, but pitcher Ethan Steer asked the plate umpire, Jace Armijo, was that in? And he got a little yes head nod. Looked a lot like some of those inside pitches that clipped the inside part of the zone. 2-2 count to Brandon Jenkins. Jenkins swings and knocks that through the left side. Going to send the runner. Here comes the throw from left. That will be behind the score of Jackson McFarland, and the Pioneers not done in the third inning as they bat around. Jenkins, his first hit, RBI. Brandon aboard. Ben Kern to second base. Back to the top. Second plate appearance of the inning for Michael Pickett. Ethan Steer, pitcher for the Miracles, in the thick of it here in the third. He got the 3 up, 3 down in the first. Faced the top of the order here again in the third, and it's gone differently. Ball towards short, diving stop. Nice play at short. Going to try to make that throw, and it's an infield single. Pickett beats it down the line. What a great backhand diving play. At short by Jackson Schlepper. Full layout at the back edge of the infield where it meets the grass to the outfield. Too deep to make an out on that. Saved a run for sure. Ben Kern would have scored as that ball rolled into left field, but the diving play at short holds him. Pickett has his first hit of the day, now 1 for 3. That's his second time batting in this inning. And here's Alex Draper, reached on error and then showed off the wheels, even showed it off out of the batter's box on that jam shot. 1-0 count to Draper. Inside it goes for a 2-0 count. Draper playing at Concordia University in Nebraska. Hitting in the number 2 spot, playing center field for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Gearing, Nebraska and Seward, Nebraska are not close together. Same as Papillion. Way over on the east side of the state. Seward and Omaha, Papillion, all that. Right where Iowa happens. Ball to right is going to get down and get beyond the right fielder, and we got all kinds of traffic now. Draper's going to get 3 out of that, scoring 2 guys in front of him, and the Pioneers have blown this thing open in the 3rd inning as Draper has his first hit of the day. It'll score as a triple. Tough angle in right. Let that ball get by. No touch on it, though, and Draper's ball was traveling hotter than right fielder Nicholas Brainerd might have thought. It goes all the way to the wall. 2 ribbies for Alex Draper. Triple. Two-run score on the swing. Kern and Jenkins come around. Check that. That's not true. Jenkins and Pickett come around. And Henry Douglas is at the plate. Ball bounces in. Mason Aaron blocks it. So now the Miracles in a spot they've been in a few times in the course of the season where they're down deep in a hole. They're on a 2-game winning streak, taking a split of a doubleheader 3 nights ago with Spradley Collegians of Pueblo. Miracles lost the first game and then won the second game, getting their second win of the year, knocked off Diamond Club in extra innings last night. Now they're getting it put on them here in the 3rd inning, and talked about the Pioneers coming in hot with that clutch doubleheader sweep last night in Boulder of the league's front-running team, the 64s. They knocked Boulder down back behind the Fort Collins Foxes in the standings. And the Pioneers firmed up their spot in the 3rd position in the standings. Trying to do more of that today. Line or a soft liner, a little pop action to left field from Henry Douglas is the 3rd out. Deep breath as the Pioneers put up an 8 spot in the 3rd inning. Miracles have the top of the order. They're going to need a quick answer now, down 10-1. Finish off that interview with Easton Babe, Pioneers manager, right here. Your squad here, the Pioneers, how would you describe this summer's group?
Oh, man. I would have to say high energy, but high energy with a high work level. These guys like to get after it. They a lot of great programs that they come from, and they've already developed such a great work ethic that they come out here with a purpose, and they want to have a good time, and we stress on them that it's supposed to be fun having summer baseball, but at the same time, we don't have very much fun when we lose.
You've done a variety of summer baseball stops. I know you've had experiences in different places. Can you tell us a little bit, please, about your college situation and sort of your non-summer efforts for you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So my primary role is the Director of Player Development at Arizona Christian University in Glendale, Arizona. It's an NAIA. There, I'm working mostly with our freshmen and sophomores, not only on the baseball field, but working with them with their class schedules, with the transfer portal being how it is right now. A lot of questions come up with how that would look like for not only our guys that might transfer out, but for the guys that come in, trying to get their credits situated, really getting the guys accustomed to just life outside of high school, life being away from their parents. but Arizona Christian's given me such a unique aspect of coaching that we've been able to go on postseason runs all 3 years that I've been there. We went to the World Series 2 years ago. Been able to be a part of a coaching staff that I'm the only person that really doesn't have any experience in professional baseball. So I've been able to sit at a table with men that have gone through every aspect of this game, from minor leagues to the show to college baseball as it is. So that whole experience I've had there has really not only developed me, but I've been just so blessed to be around some great men.
Pioneers manager Easton Babe featured in our in-game conversation. Thanks again to Easton for taking time pregame today. (10-1) score into the bottom of the third, top of the order. Strike delivered for 2 balls and 1 strike count to Hunter Morgan. Jackson Schlepper on deck. Miracles need to string together a posse of runs. So I'm looking back through the standings and schedule board for the Front Range League. Here's a ground ball rolled through the middle of the infield, and that'll get what the Miracles need. Bunch of traffic started. They got 1 on base. Hunter Morgan, 2 singles in 2 trips to the plate. Jackson Schlepper hit a ground ball to first base his first time that would have been a 3-6 DP, but the runner Morgan was breaking on the pitch. That helped the Miracles avoid the double play ball, and Morgan did score in the first inning. Schlepper takes ball 1. Austin Reese on deck. Schlepper lifts that to right along the foul line, just foul. Catch in right field for Brandon Jenkins. Fly out to right, 1 away. That was about maybe a half a step into foul territory. His glove was reached out a little farther. It would have clearly been a foul ball, but kind of straddling the foul line at the time of catch. Bullpen going to work for the Miracles on the right side with Louis De La Cueva catching down there. Louis told me earlier this season, another Miracles game I was at, that he's the main go-to catcher. They don't have a depth of catchers on the roster. We see Mason Aaron getting the work today. Good job by Mason getting Louis a little time. Louis will just go mask and glove only. Catch down in the pen. A little lighter day for De La Cueva today after catching last night. Rocco Harmon sees that sent to right. That ball will stay up. Going to take a shot behind the runner. He'll be back safely. Line drive pretty well hit by Austin Reese. Had a little bit too much velo to it off the bat, and it carries out to right field. Back-to-back catches for Brandon Jenkins now. 2 out, 1 away. Jansen Roberts. The winds are different today. The flag's out in left field blowing kind of across left to right. Tougher to hit a ball out than it was last night when Roberts hit a walk-off grand slam about 400 feet. Go first pitch and hack that back to the screen. Jansen told me pregame today he's going to head to small school in Missouri for his collegiate start. Just graduated from Cheyenne Mountain State runners-up in Class 4A. Runner takes off, ground ball towards second. It is frying pan down to the ground, picked back up, and out is Roberts on a 4-3 ground ball. 1 runner reaches. The leadoff man was aboard, but never got him anywhere. Fly out, line out, ground out. That'll leave David Ada to lead off the bottom of 4 for the Miracles, but first they've got to deal with Ashton Pinedo, the number 4 spot for the Pioneers. Jake Watson and Tanner Lancaster have 1 snack-sized bite left of the Easton Babe interview, and I want to give him his props for taking the time to come up. You'll hear the final words of Easton Babe right now, and that'll take us toward the in-game conversation with Miracles player Maddox Stahl. But first, final thoughts from Pioneers manager Easton Babe.
I've coached for 28 years, and I run a big baseball organization. And I've long said that I think, done right, coaching is God's work. For you at the school you're at, on 2 levels, you're doing God's work. So commendations on the effort you're doing there. Last thing I want to get from you while you're trying to win a ball game here today, got to get some kind of either a wisecrack or a complimentary, considerate comment or whatever you want to do regarding Chuck Heeman, the owner, the main operator, president of this league, and the owner of the Pioneers. I'm not really trying to get you to take a crack at him, but how's it working in Gearing and with the Pioneers?
Having the boss at every game, might put a little bit of pressure on some guys, but I absolutely love it that he gets to see the product that he's putting on the field night in and night out. He does a great job making sure we have everything we need when it comes to travel, food, all the sweet accessories we have for the Pioneers, and he cares about the guys, and that's something you don't get everywhere you go, and that's pretty amazing.
Family affair there too on the Pioneer side. That's
Yes,
kind of
sir.
cool for you probably to see that husband-wife tandem going at that too.
Yep.
So we're going to get to the All-Star break and do all that. We're getting close. You got a ball game today. Good luck with the Miracles. Thanks for taking the time, and good luck with the rest of the summer.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Easton Babe. Top of 4 from Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs. Pitch 1 fired at, fouled off right side for Ashton Pinedo. Oh, 1 count to Pinedo after an 8-run frame last inning for the Pioneers. Bursting into a big lead. They're going to get a lead-off base hit right there. Pinedo, 2 for 2. He's got a walk, a single, and a single, all in consecutive innings, the second, third, and fourth. Fun for a hitter, seeing the plate every inning, 3 in a row. Miracles have made a pitching change. Evan Iacono is on. Evan Iacono now pitching. Seen Evan a couple times this year. He takes over for the starter, Ethan Steer, who went 3 innings of work and hit heavy turbulence in the third. Pitch up from Iacono is a 1-0 count. Jake Watson, the catcher, 1 for 2 today. Swings for a strike. Watson, a statistically busy at-bat last inning. Single, RBI, stole a base, advanced further on a passed ball on that first and third takeoff, stolen base, and then scored the run. He was heavily in the stats columns last inning in the 8-run frame was catcher Watson. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Runner takes off. That's a strike. Throw down is late as Pinedo steals second. Starter Ethan Steer for the Miracles went 3 innings. He threw 72 pitches in 3 innings. That's a heavy load. That's 24 pitches per inning is the average, and it was the third inning that the majority of those pitches happen. This ball is blasted high to center. That'll hang up. 410 all the way to the center field wall. That one's in the right center gap. Spinning throw after the catch. Rolls in behind the tag up of Pinedo. Watson flies out to right center. Center fielder Hunter Morgan catch and a spin and a throw. Why not take a rip at it? Really had no chance. He was moving away from the play
on a decently deep fly ball. Tanner Lancaster chance to punch in a run that would make it a double-digit advantage for the Pioneers. Miracles manager John Byington is out in front of his dugout. Now he's calling out some defensive information after a strike pitch to open up to Lancaster. Looks like the middle infielders taking a few steps back. They're not up to cut the run here on the infield. Looks like they're going to try to just get outs and keep this inning limited. There's a fly ball to left. That's going to be a tag up and a score. Sac fly RBI from Tanner Lancaster. He has 2 of those back to back. All the dude does is sacrifices himself. Flew out to center field last inning that scored a run. That was the second out of that inning. Does it again here. Second out is a fly out to left. Sac fly. Tanner Lancaster, 2 productive non-ABs. Those are plate appearances now. Doesn't count as an at-bat for him. And he gets the RBI. Double sack. He's got a single sack. Tanner from Castle Rock, Colorado, Northwestern CC, his collegiate home. 2 down and a 10-run lead on the board now, 11-1 for the Western Nebraska Pioneers with Jackson McFarland batting. He has an infield fly that was allowed to drop, but nobody took off on it. Right at second base in the second inning, and a hit by pitch last inning, scored a run. Swings for a miss, 1-1 count. So Ethan Steer closing the book on the starter. 72 pitches for Steer, 43 of those for strikes. So he threw 29 balls, 43 strikes, 9 hits, 10 runs, 3 of those booked as earned on the home team scorekeeping. 10 runs and just 3 earned. That's unpleasant. 1 strikeout, 1 walk for Ethan Steer in the start. Iacono missed there. I was about to commend him. He's thrown 8 strikes and 3 balls, now make it 4. So he's doubling up strikes to balls. Love that. 3-1 count with 2 outs, bases clear. Miracles trailed last night, not by this much. Then they led by almost this much and got run down by the Diamond Club Collegians. Ball launched to right field is going, and it is yard. Right field pull shot from Jackson McFarland. His first hit of the day is 4 bags worth of RBI. A solo shot from Jackson McFarland. And he crushed that to right. Colorado Springs Airport nearby, COS, swinging a strike to Ben Kern. Military presence, obviously, heavy here with the Air Force Academy and bases in Colorado Springs. Got the airport, and the air traffic control just had to get involved with that ball off the bat of Jackson McFarland. Putting stuff up in the flight pattern. 0-2 count to Ben Kern, the left fielder. So not an empty frame for the Pioneers by any stretch again. They've had 2 2-run innings. There's an offer on a good pitch from Iacono. The home run ball from Jackson McFarland, right fielder for the Miracles. Nicholas Brainerd didn't even really make an effort to start running back toward the fence. That one off the bat had some teeth on it, and 2-run score. Pinedo singled to lead off the inning. He scores on a sac fly from Lancaster. Solo blast from McFarland puts 2 up for the Pioneers. They lead 12-1 to the bottom of 4 with the 5, 6, and 7. Ada, Lucero, and Brainerd headed to the plate for El Paso County baseball. Assistant coach Marcus Gilmore making his way around to third base from the first base dugout, hoping to get some traffic for the Miracles. Marcus Gilmore on staff with John Byington, thanks to the coaches for the Miracles, always hospitable. Seen them in Fort Collins. I think I saw them in Arvada for a Front Range League game. First chance to hang out with them at their home park. I'll be here through the weekend for, 4 different teams rolling through town. I make it 3 because Diamond Club comes back. But tomorrow's going to be a doubleheader now. They reworked the schedule, and it's going to be 2 games here with the Fort Collins Foxes. And hello again to Rocco Harmon, starter still out there for the Pioneers. He's in his 4th inning of work now. 2 strikes on the board. Now a 1-2 count to David Ada. Third base coach Marcus Gilmore chatting with Pioneers third baseman Ashton Pinedo. They're having an in-at-bat chat with a 1-2 count. And he hits one. He's trying to distract him. And then he had his hitter told him, hit the shot over here. I'll talk to Pinedo. He'll never know what's coming. Foul ball. 1-2. Pinedo from Broomfield, Colorado. St. Bonaventure collegiately for Ashton. And a swinging strikeout. Ada fooled on that pitch. David Ada goes down. Jeremiah Lucero was the scheduled batter. He'll have a pinch hitter here. This is a guy who thought he was, as of last night, thought he was going to start on the hill today. Maverick Alcaria. And then when I got here today, I was talking down at the dugout, found out that they had changed it to Ethan Steer. Maverick might be starting tomorrow, one of the games against the Fort Collins Foxes, team sitting in first place in the league right now, and a team that swings it, puts up heavy run totals. Could be this guy in the box right now, might be on the hill. And Maverick told me himself, I don't throw real hard. If I can get my changeup working, though, I'm usually all right. Just kind of get guys to miss barrels and get frustrated with me, not throwing it as hard as they want me to. Maverick Alcaria is in an 0-1 count. Strike called. At the conclusion of this inning, we'll fire into the Maddox Stahl interview. Maddox, a player on the Miracles roster, got the win last night on the mound in relief. Stahl off today. There's another pitch that's going away. 2 batters in a row have a pitch sweeping out of the zone that they take a compromised soft sweep swing at, and it's back-to-back Ks for Rocco Harmon. And hitting in the spot where Nicholas Brainerd started for the Miracles is Ben Clayton. Clayton takes ball 1. A couple new batters this inning. Lucero and Brainerd batted in the second inning, both grounded out. And now it's Alcaria and Clayton batting here in the 4th. Yes, on the appeal down the line, that is he went around. Same pitch. Rocco Harmon finding that one in the inning. These baffling hitters. That ball disappearing out to the left side batter's box, down and away to the righties. He'll miss low there. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Nobody on and 2 outs. Harmon looking for a clean 4th. Gave up 1 run, had 2 different runners reach base in the first inning, 1 runner in the second inning, 1 runner in the third inning. And he'll have 1 reach here on a walk pitch to Ben Clayton. Bryson Martinez, the number 8 batter in the order, back to the dish now. Right side batter is Martinez, number 8 spot, DH. Harmon with 51 pitches. They make it 52 now in the books. Goes ball 1 to Bryson Martinez. And Martinez rips through that pitch, sends it to left. 2 guys aboard with 2 outs. Harmon cruising through the first 2 batters with strikeouts. Those were the first 2 Ks of the game for Harmon. He was catching momentum in his 4th frame. Then a walk and a single. Number 9 spot, Mason Aaron, catcher today for the Miracles. First pitch to Mason Aaron is upstairs. Mid-50s in the pitch count now for Harmon. He's thrown 31 strikes. And looks like the updated count is 24 balls, 31 strike, 24 ball. Yanks that one as a wild pitch. Runners move up, no forces anymore. Brainerd to third, not Brainerd, sorry, Clayton, who was in for Brainerd. Martinez to second. Ben Clayton leads the charge at third base. And Mason Aaron has a 2-0 count. The guy on deck is 2 for 2 today. That's top of the order, Hunter Morgan. Missed again for a 3-0 tally in this count. I imagine Mason Aaron's on a heavy take right here, or maybe a late fake bunt. Throw a little eyeball action on the pitcher. Nope, going to let him try to work through it and challenged him to find the zone. He didn't. Aaron takes a walk. The bases are full. I'm sure John Byington, the manager for the Miracles, would love to get this kind of traffic before 2 outs because it feels horrible to have 3 guys walk off stranded. But they are in a good spot here. Morgan 1 for, or make it 2 for 2 today. Singles in the 1st and 3rd. He bats in the 4th with 2 away, bases full. Goes first pitch, sends it to the middle. That ball slows up, and race to the bag is won by the shortstop. First pitch, soft grounder bouncing through the infield. Pickett picks it and steps on second for the force out. No runs in for the Miracles. Mounted a 2-out threat and got nothing, and they're down 12-1 to the top of the 5th. 9-1-2 for the Pioneers. Jenkins, Pickett, and Draper. Time for us to check in on our conversation with Miracles player Maddox Stahl here at Blocktickets Park.
Pioneers and Miracles on a Thursday afternoon day game at Blocktickets Park. Thad Anderson and last night's winning pitcher, Maddox Stahl, comes on in relief, gets an inning in the 3rd, gets a walk-off granny. Had a teammate, Jansen Roberts. Enjoyable game last night. What are your reflections on last night?
As a team, we started off hot. I think we put up 6 runs in the 3rd, I think, and then kind of the 4th, 5th, and 6th was kind of a very relaxed game. Then that 9th inning came, then they started to rally in the top, and then switched pitchers. I came in, and then luckily we went out, only let up 1 run, I believe, in the 9th, and then we got to the 10th, no run scored, and that bottom Jansen came up, bases loaded, and walked it off, which was pretty big for the team.
That was cool. It was a 385 sign out there. He hit it just to the center field side of that sign, so it was we're talking like 400 off a wood bat.
Yeah.
Dugout kind of lit up. I saw and heard the reaction down there. Good night of ball. You guys actually have a couple wins in a row after a pretty tough start. You got Pueblo Spradley Collegian, split a doubleheader there. How would you describe just this team, this summer team that you're on, the roster? Kind of what do you think of this group?
Right. Like you said, it was off to a rocky start to begin the year. We were kind of figuring out who we were as a team. And then we went down to Nebraska, and that was a rough weekend. We came back, and then I think, we added some more guys to the team, and then we finally were able to put it together. The pitchers came together a little bit, but I think hitting-wise, we're probably one of the better teams hitting-wise, and I think last night it definitely showed. And then I believe it was Monday when we got our win. That definitely came out and showed that we hit the ball pretty well.
That's Maddox Stahl between innings, checking in with Miracles player Stahl. This ball's going to go gap right center. That ball checks up just shy of the wall, hits the edge of the track. 3 bags for the number 9 batter, Brandon Jenkins. Leadoff triple for Brandon Jenkins. And the Pios, they won 13-1 last night in Boulder in Game 1, and then 6-3 in a lower scoring affair. 2 7-inning ball games in a doubleheader situation. They blasted the 64s, who were sitting in the number 1 spot in the league. 13 runs in that game, followed with 6, and now their offense explosive today, day game. dozen runs. Ball trickles away but won't go far enough for any kind of move up. Mason Aaron picks it up. See Maverick Alcaria at second base now. He pinch hit. He's playing D over there. Scanning around the infield of the Miracles. Pitch is in the zone for a strike. 1-1 count. This is the 6th meeting of the season for these two teams, Miracles and Pioneers. Iacono's pitch is fired at. That'll be a drifting fly to left that's going to put up the 13th run of the game. They match yesterday's Game 1 total, the Pioneers, with a sac fly to left field. Leadoff guy Michael Pickett lifted it out to left. He'll pick an RBI from that. And Brandon Jenkins' leadoff triple is cashed in on the very next plate appearance. Two sacrifice flies from Tanner Lancaster in the game. Got a sac fly from the leadoff man Pickett now. I think that's all I'm seeing, but that's 3 sac flies. Good baseball. Just get a ball lifted deep under 2 outs and send the guy to the plate. Cashing in the runs. Iacono pulled the string a little bit there on Alex Draper, who was way out in front. Flicking through Iacono's pitch. No bullpen activity either side. I think Rocco Harmon's coming back for a 5th inning of work. 9-inning game. Format calls for a run rule after 7 if it's a 10-run margin. Got that issue on the board right now for the Miracles, who need to hit the accelerator. Ball fouled up the third base side into the bleachers. 2-2 count. Draper, hands active in the pre-pitch ready position for the lefty. Takes to a full count, 3-2. One away, nobody aboard. 3-2 pitch. Iacono got the zone, and Draper wanted to turn toward first like he might have walked, and I think he knew that got way more of the zone than Alex expected that pitch to get. Nice finish from Evan Iacono to that count. Henry Douglas is the number 3 batter. 6th meeting today of the season, and the Pioneers have won all 5 of the previous matchups. Here's a number. That almost hit the bag. That was foul rolling down the line. That's why for umpires, you never call it until it's either touched foul or terminated past the bag. That one it stayed in the dirt the whole way down the first base line, was rolling foul, started to veer back and just cruised along the foul side of the first base bag, almost caught that. Would have been an easy out at 1. Instead, it's strike 1, now a 1-1 count. The first set of meetings between these teams were here in Colorado Springs. Pioneers had a 3-game set. That was June 10, 11, 12 sweep for the road team. And then at Western Nebraska on June 21 and 22. Met 5 times in the course of, 12 days, with the Pioneers not only winning the 5 games, but dominating all of those. First game they met was actually the best they've had, 8-5 win for the Pios. The following day here in Springs, it was 10-7, 15-2 on that 3-game set closer. The Pioneers smoked the Miracles in the 3rd game after 2 competitive ball games, 3-run wins for the Pioneers in the early June window. 3-1 pitch is a strike for 3-2. So 8-5, 10-7, and 15-2. when they came here last time a couple weeks ago. And then at Gearing, Nebraska, it was 23-4 and 9-4. 2 games won by the Pioneers. The 23-4 was a big blow-away game. Walk there is going to keep the inning going. Henry Douglas earns the pass. Ashton Pinedo cleanup batter, third base defender Pinedo in. 2 for 2 on the day, Pinedo. 2 singles and a walk, 3 runs scored. He has made this circuit all 3 times he's come to the plate. Miracles get a ground ball to third that skips past the glove. That at third base now for the Miracles. They've made a change there. David Ada is at third, and he whiffed on the glove reach at a pretty well-struck ball by Pinedo. Error puts him aboard, and first and third with Douglas over to third base. Talk about Ashton Pinedo touching home, making the circuit all 3 of his previous times at the plate. I tossed out the kind of trivia question or random baseball thought knowledge question last night. Swing and a miss on a bending pitch. Watson missed it. I asked it last night, what is the most used base in baseball? Never answered it last night. Left it ... Think that over. Converse, discuss. Ball to center, and it's deep, and it is over the head and off the wall. 1 bounce to the wall, and 2 runs are in. Jake Watson, who will probably grab a courtesy runner here with 2 outs, has 2 RBI on a 2-bag swing. Henry Douglas and Ashton Pinedo scoring, and the onslaught continues. There is courtesy runner Austin Marlin. It sounds like a car I want to buy. The Austin Marlin. He'll run at second base. Tanner Lancaster's spot in the order. He'll bat here, number 6 spot. Miracles enjoying their road swing. Back home today, they'll head back up across the state line into Nebraska, veer past Cheyenne, and wander over to Gearing near Scotts Bluff. Clang down into the bleachers comes the foul ball. 0-2 count to Tanner Lancaster. Pioneers on the road for the 64's 2 games. Ended up being both yesterday. It was supposed to be Tuesday, Wednesday, but the rain out Tuesday pushed it to a double yesterday. 0-2 pitch to left and floating in left and not going to get there. Another run comes around as now the Miracles have a full leak in the hull of their boat. I can't even find the runners anymore in my scorecard. There's so many colored in diamonds. Lancaster serves a single that plates courtesy runner Austin Marlin. (16-1) is the current damage in the 5th. 2 games in Boulder for the Pioneers, and then today in Colorado Springs. They'll be in action back home tomorrow. Fans in Gearing get out to the ballpark at Oregon Trail Park. Small town baseball fun all summer long with the Pioneers. 1-1 count after that strike call. Miracles will host, the Pioneers will host Diamond Club Friday night, 6:35 at Oregon Trail Park Stadium. Swing and a miss, 1-2 count to Jackson McFarland. He's the 8th batter of the inning. They had 2 outs after 3 guys had come to the plate. 1 run in on the Jenkins leadoff triple and a sac fly from Pickett. 3 guys were up, 2 were down, and now turnstiles open back up. Ground ball middle, going to get a step at second base and close out the top of the 5th. Another productive frame. 4 runs in the 5th for the Pioneers out of western Nebraska, who have firm command of a 9-inning game, looking like it might get cut short on a run rule. Miracle's got to go to work on that now. 16-1 is the count to the bottom of the 5th. 2, 3, 4 batters for the Miracles coming up. Schlepper, Reese, and Roberts. More now with Maddox Stahl, Miracles player, on a pregame interview.
Yeah, you've been swinging it. I like watching you hit, and I was surprised. I just haven't seen enough of your games. All of a sudden, you're on the hill. I didn't realize you kind of two-weighted. Do you do that in college at all?
No, actually, my first inning was in Nebraska on Sunday. That was the first time I pitched in 3 years.
Nice.
And we kind of I talked with Coach about it. I just told him, if we ever needed an arm, just because we don't have as many as every other team in the league, that if you ever need an inning or two, I'd be more than happy to.
Well, it was good last night. You got through that, shut down that top of the 10th, and got a chance to win it. If you could just kind of walk us through, it was Legend High School, you told me, right?
Correct, yes.
And which suburb is that? Where is that exactly?
So it's about 30 minutes south of Denver. It's in Douglas County, right next to Castle Rock.
Yeah, okay. I know the school. It's hard for me to place those and where they're at. Now, just kind of in the Northwest for college ball, and what's your experience been after college into the early years or after high school into the early years of college?
Big difference. I was lucky enough to make the travel roster this year, and we traveled a fair amount, and I learned that, just if you're good in high school doesn't mean you're going to be great in college. So there's a lot more work that you have to put in to want to get to the level that you want to be at in order to compete against everybody. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me, learning that, being an average high school player is not going to get you where you want to be.
It's Maddox Stahl. We got a little more with Maddox coming up. One more round of Maddox Stahl comments in our in-game get-to-know-me's. Thanks to Easton Babe, manager for the Pioneers, for his contributions today also. Chop those up into multiple segments throughout the broadcast. And like you, I get tired of listening to me, so it's good to have other voices in here. Thank the Lord. Bottom of the 5th inning. Rocco Harmon still at it on the mound. Jackson Schlepper hit an end-of-the-bat shot to short. Ball down in the dirt, and it pops loose on the pick try at first base. Jackson McFarland, nice stretch and a pick. He had it to the glove. It's going to go as an E6. It's one that McFarland, he's frustrated. He had the ball picked, and it just rolled loose, but that's a short hop skip throw that McFarland made a pretty nice play on. Couldn't contain it. Can't assume the pick, so you got to go to shortstop where the throw came from. Schlepper is the shortstop for his team, and he arrives at first base. Nobody out. Austin Reese comes to the plate. Number 3 batter. First pitch, hammers that to right. Solid single. Saw that pitch well. Harmon has 2 guys aboard, one after a ground ball in the infield, and that clean line drive to right for Austin Reese. Austin now 1 for 3. He had a ground out and a line out prior to that single. Jansen Roberts scheduled to bat here. He won't. Number 4 spot in the order is a pinch hit. Logan Wilson. Wilson down goes pitch 1 for a ball. As Rocco Harmon has worked into the 5th. Good start for Harmon. Good job with helping the pitching staff keep the arms right in a busy stretch of games for all the teams. So this is number 29 versus 29 here, with Harmon in the white jersey 29 and pinch hitter Logan Wilson in the red jersey 29 with a 1-1 count. Nice outer edge pitch for a strike 1-2. Friday, Saturday, Sunday games for the Pioneers after 2 on Wednesday and 1 today, Thursday. They go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all at home. They've got the Greeley Grays coming to town after Diamond Club on the weekend. Ground ball, that is just foul. Just missed going over the bag. Would have been action coming to the plate for the Miracles. And then a little break out to, I think it's July 2nd. There's a game scheduled, not on the standing schedule that I built out a few days ago. I think that one got tweaked a little bit. I'll have to get that one added. I'm pretty sure the Pios have second and third. Here's a strikeout pitch. First base occupied, nobody moving, and the batter's out. He struck out. Ball was loose at the plate, but he cannot go on that with first base occupied. John Byington, I think he might think that was foul tipped. Call was not such. It would have been at bat still alive if it was a foul tip on 2 strikes, but that was judged a swing and a miss with a ball dropped at catcher. Put 1 out on the board. First pitch, big healthy hack from David Ada. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He's 0 for 1 on that swing. He burned 11% of his remaining battery juice on that one swing right there. To go recharge in the dugout. 0-1. He got a lot of that one. Barreled to left, retreating to the track and running it down. Nice play in left field for the Pioneers. Ben Kern, I think still the guy out there. As Kern rambles back to make the play. And need to double check that, though, because that's a lefty arm, and Kern is listed as a righty-righty. And not able to tell from yonder this way. Try to get a check on that left field defense. Nice retreating catch at the track. Now the Miracles, they left them loaded last inning, and they've got 2 aboard and now 2 outs. Ducks croaking on the pond. Too much frequency here for the Miracles. Stranded 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Strike there. Goes to a 1-1 count. Stranded 3 in the fourth. And 2 aboard. Pioneers, looks like I think it's Luis Quintero potentially in left, trying to investigate. Swing and a miss. This is the spot Maverick Alcaria took over. He's taken his second at-bat in back-to-back frames. Pinch hit in the fourth, batting again in the fifth. Alcaria, who we saw at second base defensively, he's got a 1-2 count. Miracles haven't scored since the first inning, and they won't score here. Stranding 2 more. Strikeout 2 in the inning for Rocco Harmon, who has 5 good innings of work. Bullpen was starting to go for the visitors down the third baseline. That might be it for Harmon. He's getting the greeting line outside the dugout is Rocco, and correct that left fielder. It was Ben Kern. So the roster says righty-righty. He must be showing off. He uses the other glove hand, man. That's not true. Got through 5, and the Pioneers are steamrolling the Miracles in Colorado Springs. Let's get back with Maddox Stahl and work through comments from Maddox pregame today. Thanks to Stahl for joining us pregame.
Last thought, and you guys are trying to win a ball game here over the Pioneers today. Kind of a fun run this weekend here, a lot of home games. Oh, by the way, this is the next to last thought. What about playing in this park? What do you think about being here?
It's awesome. It's a lot bigger field than what we're used to, but just the overall stadium, it's sick. When the fans come, they get the music going. It gets the crowd going, I feel like. So it's a very nice place to play. Very well done stadium.
Truly my last thought then. You got skipper staff, you got Marcus Gilmore, and you got John Byington. Just tell us kind of about the coaches and the dynamics of how, because summer ball is interesting, even from a coaching perspective. What have you gotten or what do you observe from the 2 guys who are leading your team?
For Coach Byington, he's a very relaxed. He's not going to get on you very much, but he's very knowledgeable, very well. I believe he was an alumni at Texas A&M, so he knows a lot about the game. And then Coach Gilmore, he's more of he'll get on you if you're not playing well. And I think it kind of balances out, right? Gilmore will hold you accountable for what you need to do, and then Coach Byington, he'll be more relaxed and just kind of chat with you throughout the game.
I think I was told maybe you're off today or maybe a pinch hit here or something if they need you. But
yeah.
So maybe nobody on, but right now, so whether it was a say hi to anybody watching you today or just Who's in your corner? Who do you have behind you, kind of supporting you through college and this summer ball experience?
Mom, dad, grandparents, brother. You know, they're all just making sure everything's going good, checking in here and there. So
Good. So you got a group. Got a group out there. Everybody needs a group, right?
couple people, yeah.
Brother, an okay guy.
Yeah.
Younger, older.
Younger brother, high school.
Okay. And so, are you his idol?
I think so.
Sure. Why not? You're mine. So let's go with that. Maddox, thanks for the time. Good luck with the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
El Paso County Baseball Miracles player Maddox Stahl. Enjoyable conversation with Maddox. Finished off right there, and inning led off there by Ben Kern. He of some mystery in left field. But it was indeed Ben who leads off the top of the sixth in singles. He's got a 3-for-4 day going. 3 singles for Ben Kern. Pushing the average up. Kern strikeout in the 4th. Otherwise, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th inning singles. That pitch was laser lined to the number 2 on the back of Brandon Jenkins, who wears it. First pitch, hit by pitch. Didn't even get a chance to get into his count. That wasn't retaliation for the triple last inning. No. Don't stir the pot. Mound visit here. The Miracles do have the pen going. It looks like it might be Jacob Watley in the pen for the Miracles, with Evan Iacono grinding along here into the 6th with a single and a hit by pitch. Iacono has worked 2 complete innings. He's into his 3rd inning of work without an out recorded. And Coach Byington is going to keep him out there with the bullpen at work down the first base line. Louis De La Cueva catching. It's got to be Jacob Watley. Haven't seen the number, but it looks like Jacob down there. Righty in the pen is Watley as he warms but won't be summoned yet. Iacono would like to get out of this. He gets a 6 ball that will be a force out in the middle of the diamond. A 1-hop soft shot to shortstop. Might have had 2 written on it. A little bit of trouble getting that converted from glove to hand for Schlepper. Makes the front end play of a 6-4. Fielder's choice there for Michael Pickett. On to third goes Ben Kern. Pickett on at first. Alex Draper. He is 1 for 4 today's Draper. Triple in the 3rd inning. 2 triples today for the Pioneers. Brandon Jenkins, who was just forced out in the middle of the diamond. He tripled in the 5th inning. The Draper triple was in the big 3rd inning, the 8-run frame. Half of the runs produced today came in the 3rd inning for Western Nebraska. Evan Iacono, pitcher for the Miracles. He's on 2 1/3 now after that fielder's choice in the middle. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits. He's got 6 runs allowed. 3 have been tallied as earned runs on the home team's scorekeeping input. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. And 45 pitches now for Iacono. Here's a ball that could be 2. 4-6. Got the front end again. Had to reach back toward the outfield to make that catch. Take the fielder's choice again. Pickett is out. Kern comes to the plate. Another run for the Pioneers, scoring on the fielder's choice ball. Alcaria to Schlepper on the 4-6. Middle of the diamond out. Draper on at first. He's the only runner now. This ball launched to center from Henry Douglas. Back, and under it for the catch. Douglas put it deep, flies out to center field. 3 outs and 1 run in the inning. The Pioneers did not score in the first. They've scored in every inning since then. 2 in the 2nd, 8 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. Offensive machine rolling after a scoreless first inning with the 0 that went up for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Center field, I was just making sure. You got a towel on the head of the center fielder. I was trying to verify the defensive presence out there. Looks like it's still Hunter Morgan. He just added a big sun protective towel to his noggin under his hat. It is Hunter Morgan who made the catch out there to retire the top of the 6th. Bottom of 6, Miracles are down by 16. It'd be a 10-run rule after 7. Miracles can bat twice more. That's all they'll get if they don't cut this thing inside of a 10-run deficit. 7, 8, 9 coming to the plate for the Miracles.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
You tell me right now, Jimmy Morris.
It's supposed to be
always
involved.
If it wasn't
hard,
me,
you
everyone
can't
would
steal
do
second base
The
and
hard
keep your foot
is what
on
makes
first.
it great. You want to have a catch, Smalls? Yeah, let's go into the bottom of the 6th inning. It's my best Western noise I could make. Pitch 1, ball 1, pitching change for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Good 5 frames from the starter, Rocco Harmon. Harmon wraps up his day. Get you his numbers in just a minute. Rocco, good work. Again, busy stretch. Good to keep the arms fresh for Western Nebraska. Brandon Jenkins out of Henderson, Nevada, Buena Vista University. Brandon Jenkins, number 7 on the bump here for Western Nebraska. Batting bottom of the 6th. This is Miracles' Ben Clayton. He came on in the 4th inning. Now batting for the 2nd time is Clayton. Foul tapper away, goes to a 3-1 count. Bryson Martinez on deck. He'll maintain his batting spot here deep in a game that's gotten lopsided heavily. 8-run 3rd inning. The real power propulsion to this 17-1 lead. It's a 3-2 count right here. Scoreboard said 3-1, but umpire flashed up a 3-2, fouled off, staying 3-2. Again, Jace Armijo, Tim Dumas, umpires today. Always appreciate the work of the crews around the Front Range League. First year of the new Front Range League Collegiate Baseball Summer Wood Bat. Along the Front Range in Colorado and up into Nebraska. Visit frontrange.league.com for schedules, standings, stats, and more. frontrange.league.com. Walk pitch sends Ben Clayton to first base, and in steps Bryson Martinez. Takes ball 1. Bullpen, there's a swing, back pick to 1, won't get the runner. Diving back is Clayton. Bullpen has, if not activity, a heavy population for the Pioneers. They've been hanging out down on the bench facing back from the left field corner back toward, they're behind the bump, the hill in the left side bullpen, behind the mounds and facing back toward the infield surface. You got 4, 5, 6. I think I got 7 Pioneers down there. 6 seated, 1 standing on the mound, hanging out, waiting to see if they're activated. Runner's out on the swing, and the pitch rolls through to the backstop, moving down to second base. Chart that wild pitch. I imagine you could debate wild pitch or pass ball. I think wild pitch down in the dirt. Martinez swung on it. He's out. First base occupied with less than 2 outs. Batter is out on a third strike that is dropped. Same kind of concept as the infield fly. The reason that's there is if there were less than 2 outs and a runner at first, and you could run on a drop third, the motivation for a catcher then would be drop the third strike on purpose, forcing the batter to run and the guy from first base to have to run. You could turn double plays on that all day long, just frying pan the third strike. But there goes the runner from second base and an exchange problem behind the dish. Jake Watson had a shot at him, and he knew it, but he couldn't get the exchange, the transfer out of the glove. Stolen base goes to Ben Clayton. Mason Aaron swings at air and goes 2-1. 2-ball, 1-strike count, 1 out. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 2-2 on a swing and miss. Good pitch from Brandon Jenkins. Yeah, I'm gonna cross check here too. We may have a roster issue going on. Jake Eddy is listed in the scorekeeping, so we may have a jersey difference here than what I've got on paper. Ground ball to second, slipping and down to the turf, or down to the dirt on the Mason Aaron softball. That'll be an infield hit and an RBI for Mason Aaron. Ben Clayton scoring. First run since the first inning for the El Paso County Baseball Miracles. 9 spot in the order. Mason Aaron delivers one toward the second base bag, cutting across. Tanner Lancaster tried to get that he was on the move toward the left field side, tried to plant and go, and he lost his footing, wiped out, and that was all she wrote for Aaron on the infield single. Rocco Harmon, 5 innings from the starter today for the Pioneers. 6 hits, 1 earned run. Just the 1 run allowed for Rocco Harmon. Fouled off top of the order. Hunter Morgan has 2 strikes against him with the foul away and 1 out. Hunter Morgan, Jackson Schlepper on deck. Rocco Harmon, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks in the 5 innings. Threw 74 pitches, 43 for strikes. Make that 31 balls against 43 strikes. That ball is served into left. Hunter Morgan has a 3-hit day with his 6th inning single, his 3rd single of the ball game. And Mason Aaron moves along to second with Schlepper coming to the plate. Out at first base recorded as the Pioneers get the out. I actually took a quick hiatus to go verify. It is Jake Eddy. He just covered first on that. I think I may have a roster problem. Brandon Jenkins listed as number 7 on my roster, but that ain't the Haps. It is Jake Eddy, and Eddy makes a nice pitcher play to get over and cover up, as you do when you're on the bump. You're still a defender. Need 9 of you, not 8 defenders, pitchers. Don't be spectators. The Schlepper is out. Reese is on, and we've got 2 down. This could cap the 6th. Nice reach back toward the outfield side at first base by Jackson McFarland. Ground ball to short to Pickett. Caps off the 6th. 1 run to the plate. No more for the Miracles. They've got a 15-run disadvantage in what would be a final frame here on a 7-inning run rule. Bunches of work for the Miracles to do if they want to play more ball, and the Pioneers a potential victory lap on offense with Pinedo, Watson, and Lancaster scheduled up.
Hey, it's Max Alpha, head coach, manager, governor, executive, chief of Elite Prospects Gold Platinum Elite in my 5-ton pickup truck that I bought at Cartropolis. One of my 4 vehicles, one of only 6 total vehicles in the village of Sugar Lake. Elite Prospects Gold Platinum Elite tryouts are coming up. Be there if you want to be elite. We only take people who are better than everybody else. If you want to be the best, be at tryouts. Elite Prospects Gold Platinum Elite. Do not look at our record on Game Changer. We're the elitist. We will cover airfare for anybody across the globe who believes they're better than anybody else. We'll pay for you to be at our tryout. Don't miss it. Elite Prospects Gold Platinum Elite. We're just better than you. All yard baseball.
Holy, that is awesome. I knew I liked Louis De La Cueva. Top of the 7th inning pitching change for the El Paso County Baseball Miracles. Slow roller to second. Tough play for Maverick Alcaria. Trying to run it down. He would have had to completely change direction to get a throwaway. That's going to be an infield base hit. And Ashton Pinedo adds another. He's got 3 hits on the day. He's got a walk. Reached on an error, but Pinedo has scored the other 4 times he's come to the plate. Scored every one of those. We'll see if he makes it a 5 for 5 now that he's on base with nobody out. Infield single behind first base. That pitch in and pulled about as pull foul as you can go. Jake Watson slings it over to the third base side up in the grandstands. Jacob Watley has taken over at pitcher for the Miracles. At Canyon City, Jacob Watley. I've gotten a chance to talk to Jacob a few times pre-games in different cities in the Front Range League, and it's another enjoyable young person in the mix in the Front Range League. 1-1 count and a 2-1 count as a trot from Pinedo down to second base on the wild pitch. That was more like a wog. He went wogging down to second. So Louis De La Cueva, you can see him right now on the right side of your screen, right where the grass meets the dirt by first base, right there over by the coaches area. He's hanging out over there. Louis De La Cueva, a catcher. He's been working the bullpen today. He caught last night. He came and talked to me again today. Mentioned Craig Biggio again. I've been loving the Craig Biggio line of conversation with Louis from the early first days of this season. He's hanging out over there with assistant coach Mike Babe. They were in basically a half embrace a moment ago while Watley was warming up on the mound between innings. He walks Jake Watson right there. First and second, nobody out. So Louis De La Cueva, he's an old soul from what I can tell. I mentioned last night too. He may have the top beard. He might be he's definitely all FRL beard, if not MVP beard in the league is Louis. But he was out and he's still back out there chatting with Mike Babe, who head coach Easton Babe talked about during our interview during this game today. But that's pretty awesome. Young player Louis De La Cueva just has that sense or that understanding that this guy coaching first over here has got some stuff to offer. Pretty cool dude. And they had their arms around each other, kind of standing side by side, had a little half embrace going on, chatting between innings. I don't know what Louis, I haven't got a chance to talk to him about what he's looking to do, now or over the next couple of years, career-wise, but whatever it is, I'm just going to tell you right now, hire Louis De La Cueva or pay that man or put him in positions where he impacts people. Louis is a good dude, I think. At least he's made it look that way on the ball field. Strike delivered there. 1-1 count as the Pioneers are working on polishing off a dominant performance in Colorado Springs today. Tanner Lancaster, he has 4 plate appearances. He's going to send this to left, and he's going to pad the stats I was about to tell you about. Station-to-station baseball here for the Pios as they get another base hit. Single from Tanner Lancaster. All right, so update it now. He has 5 plate appearances. He's 3 for 3. The other 2 sac flies. Single in the second, sac fly RBI in the third, sac fly RBI in the fourth, single in the fifth, single in the seventh. Tanner Lancaster, he hits like Louis De La Cueva beards. Fouled off first pitch to Jackson McFarland. I'll be updating the scores on the Front Range League standings board throughout the evening. We've got one other game tonight. It's a makeup of yesterday. Rain out in Fort Collins, the 2 Fort Collins area teams. Watley's 0-1 pitch. That is spanked to right. That thing's got carry toward the clock and off of the clock sign in right field. No umpire indication. Everybody coming around. Whatever the ground rule is there, I think that's probably a bomb that hit the clock in right field under the Rocky Mountain Vibes logo sign. The Mountain Time clock says 3:35 p.m. out there. I think that's a bomb. So does Jackson McFarland. Give him the 4 bags at 3:35 p.m. If you can hit the clock, you deserve to go all the way around. Now they're going to talk about it, Jace Armio and Tim Dumas. Fortunately, in this case, the outcome not in question, but I'm with Jackson McFarland. I want that. That'd be a grand slam. Instead, right now, it's a 3-run double and no soup for Jackson. 3 ribbies on a double that bounced off of. It's a sign that's out behind the right field wall, the Pizza Hut sign, Grinder Sandwich Company, and Elegante Sweets. Elegante. Rocky Mountain Vibes logoed sign with the clock right underneath it is where he hit it. Dude was robbed. I think that deserves a couple of reactions. One is, and the other is, all right. Good job, Jackson. Great swing. Line shot down the left field line. That's going to score Jackson McFarland, and Ben Kern is going to dig around, thinking about 3. And Ben, stumbling a little, goes head first. He makes it into third base. That is the 3rd triple of the day for the Western Nebraska Pioneers, with triples out of Brandon Jenkins, Alex Draper, and now Ben Kern. And the Pios are padding the offensive stats. And to me, they're doing it in the right fashion. That, a ball you hit off the clock out there is just well earned. They've been going station to station. It's a blowout game. That ball, if you get a chance to book a triple, you take it. And to me, I saw this last night too. I think, what was that? We had a bunt play, I want to say. A couple different plays last night, commented on it. Guys are still shaping their game, crafting their game, polishing their game. Sometimes people get a little funky in summer ball, even at the high school level, but at collegiate level. When you're playing, you're swiping a bag or you're laying down a bunt. Come on, man. Come on. We should just be, let's don't play that small bally stuff. I'm with Brandon Wakefield, one of the coaches with the Boulder 64s. We got to play the game hard, play it the right way. Other team wants to be challenged. Every frame, a new opportunity to get something out of it. This ball swatted to right and everything. That just fell foul. Okay, everything not quite falling for the Pioneers. Thought Brandon Jenkins had a bloop double down the right field line, but his bat is picked up from Ben Kern, who will head back to third base as the runner. Jenkins will rebat now with an 0-2 count. Talked earlier about the Pioneers' upcoming schedule. They're home this weekend, fans in Gearing. There's a ground ball to third, takes a high hop, and Ada makes the play, throws that across. First baseman now for the Miracles is Logan Wilson. Run comes home. Kern scores on the ground out. That's the first out of the frame. It's a productive one. RBI ground out, 5-3. (22-2). Deuce is wild in favor of the visiting team, Western Nebraska Pioneers. Watley gets his first out. The pitcher flings one up there, bending pitch for a ball. Tomorrow, home for the Pioneers with Diamond Club, 6:35 p.m. Mountain. Greeley Grays on Saturday, 6:35 p.m. Mountain in Gearing. Sunday, 1:35 afternoon game against the Grays at Oregon Trail Park. Bobbled and booted at shortstop. Michael Pickett, that was his 6th plate appearance, playing in the 7th inning here. That shortstop error will put him aboard at 1. Alex Draper, 8th batter of the inning, another heavy crooked number for the Pios. They have 5 runs here in the 7th. For the Miracles, who were feeling good on a 2-game heater, that is extinguished. This ball blasted to right toward the clock again, and that'll go, checks up at the track. And another triple, 4th triple of the day, Front Range League record? Absolutely. That's the most triples we've ever seen in a ball game. I'm not looking at any kind of booklet on that. I'm just going with it. Pickett scores on the RBI triple from Alex Draper. He's got his 2nd of the day and the 4th for the team. And the melee continues. 25-run day, 23 of those for the team in white. Foul chopped from Henry Douglas. Douglas represents the bat-around right here. 9th batter of the inning for Pioneers in this 6th meeting between the two teams this season, and it'll be a 6-0 record for the Pioneers against the Miracles. Miracles had a shot in Boulder. They almost pulled off the upset of the Boulder 64s in recent, fairly more distant now, early June. It was a 10-7 win for Boulder, but they had to get a walk-off grand slam. They were down by 7, I think it was, in that game, if I remember that right. Or 6, I think it was. But they, Miracles, who've had a scuffle, they had a 2-game winning streak into today. That's ending in brutal fashion. Tomorrow, a doubleheader with the team sitting in first place in the league, the Fort Collins Foxes, 4 p.m. and 6:30. This ball ripped to right is going to be another base knock. Henry Douglas plates another. Draper steps on home. RBI single. Dugout gives it up for Henry Douglas. Now a 7-run inning. That goes along with an 8-run frame back in the 3rd. And John Byington will visit here. He's making an indication he might want to make a change here. Catcher went out for a visit. That's Mason Aaron. Yeah, they're going to go. Looks like shortstop is coming toward the mound or toward the dugout. It'll be toward the mound. Looks like Jackson Schlepper. Like the attitude from Schlepper. He runs up there like, yeah, let's do it. Jacob Watley's a cool kid, too. The pitcher who's coming off, he's walking off with Coach Byington, and they shake hands. Jacob gives him like a good, firm handshake. That was obviously a heavy barrels inning for Jacob, not the mound time he was wanting to get today, but Jacob, a guy, pretty accountable kid. I see him often on the mound, kind of tapping his chest or acknowledging like, hey, my bad on the pitch. Respectful with coach coming off. Good energy out of Jacob Watley. And the Miracles now just trying to extinguish flames here and land this burning flight without a complete disaster. You might say it is now, 24-2. That ain't good. Jackson Schlepper comes from shortstop to take the mound, and looks like, I see Ben Clayton out there. Clayton is on the left side of the infield with David Ada. Ada has been at third, so they look like they'll be on the left side. So, again, tomorrow afternoon and night, it'll be the Foxes in town, the front runners in the Front Range League, atop the standings table in the inaugural season of Front Range League Collegiate Baseball. 2 with the Foxes tomorrow. That'll be a stiff challenge for the Miracles coming off of this pasting by the Pioneers. More ball over the weekend wraps up on Sunday with the Diamond Club Collegians back in town here at Blocktickets Park. 1:35 p.m. game on Sunday against a team that the Miracles beat last night, 16-12, extra innings, walk-off granny. That's the slate coming around the bend here. And then a little break for the Miracles. They've got that All-Star break, the All-Star Spectacular in Gearing, Nebraska, 2 days, July 7, July 8. And then on July 10, they'll be back in action here in the Springs, Thursday, Friday against the Greeley Grays. That's upcoming for El Paso County Baseball Miracles. Strike one of Schlepper's new arrival on the hill. Scorebug is going to need an oil change after today. I think it's current. I have no idea. Sure, that looks good. 24-2. 1 aboard, 1 out. 10th batter of the inning for Western Nebraska is a pinch hit here for Gabe Wetzel. Gabe, scanning my chart. Yeah. Bumped into Gabe in the Maverick parking lot this morning. He's out of West Valley City, Utah. Played at Saracoso Community College in California, did Gabe. That's his collegiate spot so far. He'll take a strike there and out from Schlepper. How about the shortstop jumping on and firing a K? 2 down. Again, the Pioneers will take their wagon train back up to Gearing today, a post game back up into Nebraska. 2 outs now, fouled off. Robert Guerrero is the pinch hitter here. Collegiately, UMES. 2 trivia questions out there. What does UMES stand for, and what is the most used base in baseball? Strike to Robert Guerrero, pinch hitting here for Jake Watson. On deck, got another potential pinch hit coming. With 2 outs, we'll see if Guerrero can keep the inning going. He thought about wearing that and then unwore it. That one to the backstop wild pitch sends Henry Douglas down to second base. UMES is University of Maryland Eastern Shore. The most used base in baseball. Got a 1-2 count on the board here against Guerrero out of Wilmington, California. Schlepper's pitch is a soft chop to third. Running play, fire across. Got him. Nice play at third base. As David Ada was doing the work at third on the backstretch of that defense, and I think it was Ben Clayton who went to short, if I saw the digits correctly. Most used base in baseball is home. Debate amongst yourselves. It's 24-2 to the bottom of the seventh inning. This will be the final frame in a run rule domination in Colorado Springs today. And the Western Nebraska Pioneers going to get an inning of work for Colson Evans. 6'4" righty Colson Evans coming out to see if he can hang up a zero and send the Pioneers out on the wagon trail back to Gearing.
If you're a real baseball player, that guy's a dude. You gotta have the newest, expensivest bat on the market. Bro. And it's gotta have the coolest name. Bro. Brand new. Just dropped. Tanks. Whatever the newest metals and materials might be, this bat is always one evolution newer. The Batco Crouching Tiger Nuke Mash Pummel Destroy Quad X Quadruple Extreme. Making mediocre hitters superstars. That guy's a dude. $600 at a time. Bro. All yard baseball. All yard baseball.
This train's rolling right on out Blocktickets Park with the Pioneers. Holy 3-game run here on the road for the Pios. Great 2 wins yesterday, and add on today's big win over the Miracles, big hack and nothing for Logan Wilson, his second AB of the day. He's down 0-2. Colson Evans, Buena Vista University. He's out of Omaha, Nebraska. He'll go inside while the big righty Colson Evans. Seen him pitch a couple times this year. Like watching Colson do his work on the bump. I think Colson, I have a note here on my roster, my apparently outdated roster, by the way, that has some old stuff on it, but I think he told me Logan, Iowa was part of his young guy background. This ball is a jam job that Logan Wilson just tried to sort of evacuate on. He fouled it down third baseline, just a few steps up, still on the dirt, circle around home plate. 2-2 the count. David Ada on deck, and that pitch yanked wide outside for a full count to Logan Wilson. The Pioneers, they'll go to 15-6, 21 games in the books. That's the most of any team in the league. 21st game played today. Ball to third base is hoovered up and thrown across for the first out of the final frame for the Pioneers at third base. Kevin Blanco on that pickup. Blanco makes the play. Pioneers going to be 15-6, and that actually in the win and loss columns is going to pull them even with the Boulder 64s in second position in the league standings. They have 2 more games played than the 64s. They'll have 1 more win and 1 more loss, but games back, as far as that consideration is concerned, they'll be even in the standings. Right behind the Fort Collins Foxes, just a half game back with a game pending tonight. The Foxes would be the favorites against the NOCO Prospectors, but ball's ball, you never know. And if the Foxes would happen to get knocked off by the Prospectors, you would have a 3-way tie, I believe is where the math would land, as of the end of today. And then a busy day tomorrow, heavy gameplay going on. Pueblo Spradley Collegians are sitting in the 4th spot. They're 2.5 games back of the Foxes. They'll be 2 games back of the Pioneers after this win today for the Pios. Strike down, 2-2 count. Pitch from Colson Evans is 2-2 chop to right. Shallow depth. Easy catch in right. 2 away. David Ada pops out. And Maverick Alcaria has the last opportunity to get something positive at the plate. Alcaria watches a pitch skip through, bounce off the glove, and high to the backstop. And it looks like it was Pioneers manager Easton Babe who came and did the backstop cleanup work right there, grabbing that loose ball. 1-1 count after the strike. 6:05 p.m. Mountain Time tonight on the Front Range Baseball Network. NOCO Prospectors at Fort Collins Foxes at City Park. Colson Evans pitch. Alcaria waves at that. 24 runs today for the Pioneers. Big ol' offensive outburst. Had an 8-run frame in the 3rd, 7-run frame in the 7th. It's a 2-2 count to Alcaria. Ben Clayton on deck. Alcaria trying to stay alive here on a 2-2, 2 away, nobody aboard. Evans pitch, swing, and got him. Handshake from catcher to plate umpire Jace Armijo as the Pioneers worked the road here, taking 3 games out on the road, 2 from the league frontrunners at the time, Boulder 64s, and a whooping today of the Colorado Springs El Paso County Baseball Miracles. 24-2 goes the final count. For the Western Nebraska Pioneers, the 24-run output in this, what did we go with? We said that was their, 21st game played. That is a season high. They scored 23 against the Miracles on June 21. 5 days later, they go for 24. High water mark for runs scored for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. 2 more games tomorrow from Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs when the Fort Collins Foxes, currently in first place in the league, visit the EPCB Miracles of Colorado Springs. 4 o'clock and 6:30 from right here. I'll be here on the Front Range Baseball Network for Foxes and Miracles. Pioneers going to make their way back up to Gearing. Logan Hunter will have the calls for us on the Baseball Network, Front Range Baseball Network, and on KNEB local radio in the Scottsbluff Gearing area. That action will fill a weekend as we roll deep in the Front Range League schedule. And the final count today, 24-2 to the Pioneers. Make their way home today and take on Diamond Club tomorrow at Oregon Trail Park, 6:35 p.m. start time, Mountain Time, for fans who want to make their way to Oregon Trail tomorrow night. Thanks again to our interview guest today, Easton Babe, during the game, and heard from Maddox Stahl from the Miracles. Talk more this weekend with one of the coaches from the Miracles, be part of our interview parade on the Front Range Baseball Network. Glad you joined us. Thanks for being here. Have a great evening. You can catch Prospectors and Foxes tonight at 6:05 Mountain here on the Front Range Baseball Network. Talk to you again tomorrow for a double dip from Blocktickets Park. So long from Colorado Springs.